Books, the secret escape from the reality, which is no more a secret because I see a lot of people talking about books here and there. After all, that's what we call marketing. So I thought to bring our OG bookstagrammer Siddhant Agarwal to discuss about the changing trends in book marketing. So Siddhant, welcome to Pages and Beyond podcast show.
Thank you.
I would like you to introduce yourself to our audience so that they know the magic that you have created in book marketing market.
Thank you so much, Tanvi, for inviting me. So I started my journey in book reviewing in 2019 when I took a break for my master's. I've been reading books since a long time, and there were people who always asked for my recommendations. So I thought, why not try something with this? And therefore started this in 2019, and I've been reviewing books on and off now for will be 6 years in February. So yeah, I've worked with debut authors, I've worked with established authors, and that's the journey of my book book reviewing so far.
So, how excited are you guys to know more about book marketing? Let's just begin that. So, Siddhant, tell us how social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook help in book marketing.
So since we are all on social media for most of our day, and we've been scrolling Instagram, we scroll Facebook while we are traveling or we are sitting in office or doing something. So yes, social media has become a very effective tool, not just for marketing of books but for marketing for everything else as well, because it is taking most of our time. For books specifically, why social media has become more effective is because the age group, right from young adults and kids to the people in their 60s and 70s, all of them are using social media now. That's a reality. So that's why people are focusing on these platforms to bring their content to it, not just books but even artists, songwriters. We see snippets of movies coming on social media. So people are leveraging these platforms. For books, what is happening is another trend that's come in is the book covers and book trailers that are coming in. So and with long form and short form now possible on Instagram, Facebook, and then we have YouTube with longer form as well. So people have started focusing on these to promote books. Initially it was book launches and word of mouth that was promoting books, but now it is the creativity of the authors and the marketing team that's pushing the books as well. So and when you have so many eyeballs to grab, there is a lot of innovation that can happen, and we have seen that happen. We have seen people marketing their books almost 4 months in advance. There are campaigns that are planned. There are teasers that are coming in. There are contests that authors, publishers take up. So yes, social media therefore is becoming a better platform because it gives you flexibility, it gives you the independence, and you're not reliant on uh, you know uh, some marketing agency or your publisher, or or some person who can design creatives to market your book. With the filters and with the templates that Instagram gives you, you can create something very different. And as an author or as a publisher, you have the vision of the thing that you want to put out. So social media helps you do that. It's that freedom that's basically come in marketing of books. So
So basically, it's like promoting everything on social media about books, be it like physical events that you are going to have, the online events that you do. Like it leverages the book visibility in the market. If we talk about social media,
yes, book visibility, as well as not everybody has the time, with the structure and the travel and the work that we have today,
true.
that people will go and dedicate time for an event 2 3 hours. But if you are hosting it online, or if you are posting about your book online, then people can actually see, go talk about it. Another thing that social media has given us is it has bridged the gap between the author, the publisher, and the reader.
And the readers, true. That's true. That I can like totally relate.
Exactly. So, initially people used to email the authors, or even all the times write to the author. You might not get a response. But with social media, you can DM the author, you can comment, you can understand what is going on in their life, and you
True.
can understand where the story is coming in. And so that, I think, is another reason why social media has become a tool in marketing, because the gap between the author, the publisher, and the reader has blurred.
So yeah, I would like to give an example here. Like one of the best-selling authors, I just messaged him like for something, and he replied like after some time whenever he saw my message. So I felt like this is something everybody is welcoming on social media if they
Yes.
truly want to connect with their readers and the audience. So that's something I loved about social media.
uh, I would also like to ask you, as an author yourself, uh, how has social media helped you?
Okay, so if I talk about how social media helped me, like in my case, I'll talk about the example of my latest book that I launched recently. With the help of social media, I was able to connect with a lot of strangers who, in fact, are readers, but I didn't know about them. But when I connected with them, and they were so much like appreciating, and they just accepted my request to read my book and share about it. So that was something that I felt overwhelming for me. So, in a way, social media has helped me market my book in a better way this time.
Got it.
So, then what do you think about are book reviewers and influencers becoming more critical than traditional critics in book marketing?
So there are two sides to this. When you are reviewing books, there are two ways to look at it. One is you are actually putting your honest opinion about the book on social media and wherever you're posting. The second aspect of it is the marketing aspect of it, what you asked. So if you're talking about the book as a marketing tactic, then you should probably give constructive criticism rather than outright rejecting the book, even if it is bad. But when you are acting as a critic or acting as a reviewer, and people are basing their purchase decision based on your review, then you have to be honest. So coming back to your question now, between traditional critics and book influencers now, uh, the aspect of clickbait and grabbing more eyeballs has resulted in people talking a lot more about the book. Now what that has done is, because a lot of spotlight is on you, you tend to overshare. There, uh, in a book, there might be things that you liked, there might be things you did not like.
True.
Now when you're writing a review, you have to be balanced. You talk about the good things, the bad things, and you have to write so that people can understand your thoughts, but you are not putting out negative aspects of the book, because in the end, you are a part of the marketing chain. If you are marketing a product, you will obviously not highlight the negative aspects of it. So, but in because of the same reason, people have now started being very specific about their reviews. Like, these are ABCD things I liked, ABCD things I did not like. Hence, I did not like the book. So that happens, but in, like, if you're reviewing 10 books, maybe one book might be, might require you to be honest about it. But then you have to talk to the author, and that's your decision, and you can have a mutual decision whether you want to put it out, or not. As a reviewer, my advice is be honest. That's the very first thing that you need to do. But you also need to understand that you are acting as a agent for the book. You're putting it out, you're marketing yourself, you're marketing the author, you're talking about the book as a product. So traditional critics, if you read traditional critics, they'll give you a balanced opinion that, this was the
True.
story, this was the writing, this were the characters, this is what I felt about the book. And what I understand is book reviewing, depends a lot on your feelings about the book, rather than being a literary critic where you talk about whether this sentence was incomplete or that word was spelled wrong. There are aspects to it, but again, if you dwell a lot more on this, then it becomes like a exam paper you are checking rather than something you are talking about. So that difference needs to be maintained. But
Hmm.
yes, with the reels and the social media attention, yes, sometimes people do stray away from the concept of book reviewing and tread into critiquing the book. But as when you talk about marketing, you should probably stick to reviewing and not critiquing the book. But if you are a professional critique, then you are in a different space, so you have to respect the space you are in and behave accordingly or write accordingly.
I like this point of yours. Like when you are reviewing, don't be that critique who has to like bash in the public. Because critics, I don't think they bash in public.
Exactly.
The person who is like normal reader and not a reviewer, they can just put their point. I recently saw, in fact, a post in the on Instagram yesterday. One author posted about one book, and she just directly wrote there, ki, like, I did not like this book at all. So when reviewers doing this, that means like you took the book. That was your choice to review it, and now you are bashing about it. So that does not make sense. But after all, everyone has like
I agree.
freedom.
I agree. So again, negative criticism can probably be handled in private messages or email.
Yeah.
And if you did not like the book at all, and
Hmm.
there are situations where I have been in the same boat as well, and that's the mark of a good reviewer, as to how you put your point forth, you express your feelings, but you are not deriding someone.
Hmm.
Because writing a book is not something that you've just sat down, written 60,000, 70,000 words and put them up, right? It is someone's efforts. And even if, as a reviewer, you've written something, and if somebody comes back and says, you have written this review and there are this errors, right, you will have the exact same reaction that the author will have on reading your review.
Yeah.
So do put yourself in the same shoes and understand the space between marketing and critiquing and balance the both.
It's like you are not accepting 200 errors in 200 words, and you are giving like the critique on the like 50 to 70,000 words.
Exactly.
So that is something like not easily taken, but sometimes that helps also, because
Yeah.
we definitely come across books those are not
Yeah.
at all like to be readable in a sense, like grammatical errors, or the story is not enough good. Maybe actually I'll give you another example. There are, so since we read a lot, so there might be books we can predict the plot. So we should in that case also, some people like they just put it like in a bad way. It was you who like
Exactly.
predicted, not everyone will be able
Exactly.
to predict it.
Exactly.
So that's the
Exactly.
thing, you have to balance out it. So
Yeah,
that's
that is why I'm saying that when you are reviewing a book, it is more about what you felt about the book rather than what you
could
know
have been better.
rather than technically analyzing the book.
Yeah.
So you technically analyze the book, that's fine.
Hmm.
If you can do that, that's perfectly fine. But since books are something we usually read for pleasure,
Exactly.
uh, emotions are more important, and the emotion should come out when you are reviewing, uh, because technically a lot of people can tell, and by reading, even your chat gpt can do that.
Huh.
But the emotions are something that needs to be there. And I think that is what is powering Bookstagram today, because we see a variety of emotions.
Hmm.
So we see that a book can make people cry, a book made people laugh. So those emotions need to come out, and I think that's more important.
I got one more question out of this. What's your reaction to people who say मैंने ये एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया था, स्टोरी को ऐसा होना चाहिए था. देयर आर अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल लाइक हु क्रिएट देयर ओन स्टोरी आउट ऑफ व्हाट ऑथर वांटेड टू राइट. So what is your reaction to that thing?
So for that, we have something called fan fiction, and people have been doing it before social media as well. So right from Star Wars to Lord of the Rings to Harry Potter, we have fan fiction coming in. So if you have a better story in mind or a better ending in mind, feel free to put it out. But there is as a writer, the author had something in mind. That is why they've written that manner. So yes, that can be a part of your review. That can be a part of your critique. uh, but again, that has to be a positive feedback rather than a negative feedback.
Not even positive feedback, positive criticism you can give
Yes,
it.
yes.
That's something like something new I just got to know. Like people have right to express them, but they have to still be like sympathetic and empathy they need to
Yes,
hold.
you have to respect because it is somebody's work. It's not, even if it's a simply written story, somebody has taken effort to write it. So you have to at least respect that work. So yeah.
So that what makes Bookstagram unique, since you have been in this industry for like since 2019? What's your take on
So,
this?
what makes Bookstagram unique? The very first thing is the unpredictability of Instagram, because all of us have seen and understood and faced it. You know, there are days when you post and you get instant engagements, and then there are days when you post and there's literally no, it's a dead cemetery on your post. So that's one. Second is the variety of content that you can put in. So you can put out individual posts, you can have carousels, you can have reels, you can have videos, you can stories, polls, a lot more.
A lot more, yes.
So that gives you the freedom again to choose the type of content you want to put. You can have a consistent content going in. You can have a variety of content going in. Uh, the third point why Bookstagram is unique is because again we go back to the point of bridging the gap. Facebook started the trend. The a lot of us were on Facebook. We were utilizing it. Then when Instagram came in, I don't think a lot of people are now interacting on Facebook. We all have profiles. We all have pages, but if you compare, a lot more time is spent on Instagram,
Instagram, true.
probably because of the type of content. Similar content goes on Facebook, but again, people have become more uh, habitual to Instagram. So that's the reason why I think Instagram or Bookstagram as a platform has become more popular. The third thing, that's become more interactive is the ability to host sessions on Instagram. So Instagram lives, I think, are another reason why people have started moving to Bookstagram, and why people are focusing on the Instagram aspect of book marketing, because you can host sessions, you can host panel discussions, you can have an entire lit fest on Instagram live. You can do that. So I think that's a primary reason why Bookstagram has become popular.
Popular and unique. So I would also like to add, like I haven't used Facebook in a while, like since a long time, and I didn't know like there were groups where people used to talk, like they talk books, they talk writing, they discuss each other's work. Recently only I come to know about it, and I have been using Facebook for years, like from earlier, but having used Instagram for a long time, I forgot about Facebook.
Yeah,
So that is
and
a thing
that
that
is
I
the
felt.
thing. And another good example in this is Threads. Now, when Threads came in, a lot of people were interested. People were posting on Threads,
Mhm.
but the interest on Threads is very limited.
Example is me.
Yeah. So a lot of people are posting on Threads, but I don't think even you are for me, for that matter, I haven't gone to my Threads feed for a very long
Same.
time
I've
now.
deleted the app.
Yeah. So there's this ease of use or understanding of the platform, because we've been using it, we have tried different aspects of it, and I think that's the reason why people are focusing on Instagram.
Since we were talking about Bookstagram, so tell me, do you think aesthetics in reels and posts is taking over the real review to influence the readers?
Uh, yes, because Instagram is a visual medium, and something that catches our eye first, and we go to the caption later. And then there's a very good chance people will not read the caption. And initially, Instagram is also about the images part of it. It's mostly a photo sharing platform. So yes, we do write long captions, we do write reviews in the captions, but mostly it is the visuals that are catching people's attention, and that is why we see the aesthetic part of it taking over the text part of book reviewing or Bookstagram. But I think if we are exploring a visual medium, then we will have to move from text to visuals. And it is not just about aesthetics, it is about using the platform correctly. If you put a blank, like a blank square on Instagram, it will accept it, and you write a long caption, people will just scroll past it. There is no hook for people to actually go and see the caption. So you will have to create something that makes people stop on your photo or your video, watch it, see it, and then read the caption. So that 10-12 seconds you have to you know get that person's attention. But catching that attention can only happen if it is aesthetically pleasing. You can't put a basic post and expect people to engage on your post. I know it sounds very hypocritical from me because all my backgrounds are black, but so that is how I try to capture attention in this sea of creativity and sea of colors. I would rather have people see this bland photo or a basic photo coming in, and that can engage their curiosity to see why somebody has put a basic photo, and then might just people can go to the caption. So that's my thought process behind it. But since you are a poet and you are a writer and you post book reviews, so what do you think, and in the three roles that you're using Instagram in, what is your take on the aesthetics part of it?
Before answering your question, actually, I had one question for you.
Okay.
Like, what about you? Since you mentioned like aesthetic makes people stop at the post. What about you? Do you read the long captions if the post is that good?
I do. I do read captions, but again, it's a 50-50 game. I might read the caption, but again, it has to hold that attention for that initial 5 seconds, because if what the caption has should be in the image, otherwise I will probably skip the caption.
Because I have seen my friends like if I have read their caption and if I would have told them like this was very good or there is this mistake, please correct it. They would be like they send me hugs like, oh, you read the caption. They don't like they write, but they know like people are not going to check it. So if I talk about myself, whenever I just post something and that's not that aesthetic, because I don't have that aesthetic set for me, because that takes a lot of time and that takes a lot of efforts. And often I see I juggle between like work and making content. So when I write long captions, I make sure that I am using a good photo of mine or I am using myself in a good way in my content, so that people check out the caption. And in fact, even if they are not checking that way, I'll put it on a story and mention there, read caption. Caption is lit. So that is how I make use of
Okay.
long captions in my post.
Okay, but as a reviewer, as a poet, and as a podcaster, how is Instagram different for you?
Okay, if I talk about like different things, like I have been told a lot of times, like create different accounts for different things. But I always say I want to be the same. I am the same personality who is doing multiple things. So I want to keep it at one place. So when I'm using it as a podcast thing, so earlier I was just using that planned planned reel. I was having that creative and there would be a little sound from the podcast. But later I come to realize like I can better make use of reel by showing up myself and talk about the book a little and redirect people to my podcast. So that is how from there I can like catch attention of people on Spotify or Apple Podcast, or maybe now since we are doing YouTube. So this is although the second episode, but yeah, that has helped me to take people to YouTube as well. So that is about podcasting. If I talk about book reviews recently I have like lately started doing reels only. It's very rare to put the post and just write the caption in the review in the caption. So making reel out of whatever I'm reading, I think people relate with it. Like talking about a book passionately allows people to get engaged with your content, and they can share about their current reads. They can share about what they are loving about the content. And if I talk about poetry, I was like very skeptical when I started reciting poem on reels. I'm very bad at this recitation, so I just wanted to come out and talk about poetry and read poetry. So I just started it out, and that worked wonder for me. Like I started going for open mics, and many people just promoted me. Like they say, like come more, bring it more. Like you should recite poem. Poem is like a very good thing to show up. Like so that's how I have been using Instagram. How do authors and publishers approach you for book marketing?
So again, it is equal me approaching them as they approaching me. More often than not, I am approaching them. But it is honestly about just reaching out, talking to them. So when I started, it was just my own personal Instagram account with just from my photos and all. There were no reviews. I had just started my own blog. So I had to write to publishers, that I started my blog. I'm doing book reviews. These are the numbers that I have on Instagram, and I initially started with reviewing my own books. So the books that I had read, I had put initial 10-15 reviews, and using that as a base, then you reach out to authors, you reach out to publishers. Uh, you send out a lot of cold emails. You don't get responses. Then it just requires you to be honest and write an honest email. Uh, and I was fortunate enough to get a big publisher as my first book review. So it helps a lot. It helps your confidence as well. And once you have started putting out reviews, your content can actually bring people to you. Then you can discuss, and if you really want to review a book, just approach the publisher or the author. They will, if it's available, you'll get it. As to when they are approaching me, I usually get either Instagram DMs or emails. Mostly it is Instagram DMs. So again, coming back to Instagram, that helps a lot. So you get a DM, that my book is coming out, and I would like a review, or we can do an Instagram live session. So it depends on what you are offering. It's not just about reviews. It is about other aspects of marketing as well. And then the next part is the relationship you have with the publishers and the authors, because you've worked with them once, but when the second book is coming out, or when the third book is coming out, your interaction with them has to be on that good level, that when they're thinking of marketing, they actually think of you, and reach out, and you can have a discussion. And related to this, there is this something that's happened as well with a lot of people. You reach out, and if the author or the publisher does not send you a copy, people start cribbing, and so you have to respect that as well, because not a lot of people will agree if you are reaching out. And when people are reaching out to you, you have to be honest about the deliverables you can give in, the timelines that you are giving in, and that helps you actually develop your brand. And once you have a brand, then things start falling in place. But initially, you have to reach out to the publishers, to the authors, talk to them. Why should they trust you? Because
True.
not everybody can get a review copy, but or a media copy. But yes, you have to answer the question why.
Why?
And if that why is answered, I think that's the best way of.
Since you mentioned about cribbing publishers, basically I have seen people cribbing publishers. Like one person got more copies of the same book.
Yeah.
So how to like educate them? Like they should understand, because I have been like denied copies at times because that book was not available at all for promotions at that time. So how do you deal with it? Like
So if a book has come out which I really want to read, and if I don't get a review copy, then I would probably go out and purchase. And I think that's the best way of showing your intent, that you really want to read the book and talk about it. So if you were not able to get a media copy, and if you really want to read through, go grab a copy, read, and post the review. I think that's the best way you can build your brand as well, and that shows your intent as well. That You were not just doing it to for a marketing part of it. You genuinely wanted to read the book, yeah. And I think that again helps build that brand, and that brand itself is the answer to this question of how do you get media copies.
Yeah, true. Actually, instead of cribbing and not understanding their side, we cannot just sit and just talk like, अरे उसने तो मुझे नहीं भेजा, उसको 4 कॉपी आया. That doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Because the person might not have got the 4 different copies of the same book from the same publisher. They can get different same books copy from different places.
Yes.
And that they also don't know at times like they are getting it. So instead of cribbing people and publishers for that let's why not take the book and just read it for the brand building of us.
Exactly.
Since this is like you approach or publishers approach, how does it happen? Like, do you like working with traditional authors or self-published author? Like, and why?
So I have this policy, you can say, that I like to promote self-published authors as well. So if a self-published author approaches me, I usually take up their projects if the book and the plot is something that I really like. But I don't have a distinction specifically between traditional published authors or independently published authors. But yes, if it's a debut author and if it's a independently published book, I would give an extra push to it, especially if I like the book, because good stories should definitely reach the audience, and I think that's the reason why so many people are reviewing books and talking about books on Instagram, because you have the space of bringing out stories that are good, that that don't have that much of publicity, and you have a platform to talk about them and highlight them, so why not? And traditionally published authors usually have a bigger space. They might not have it, but usually they do. So why not push an independently published author into the spotlight if the story is good?
So, in your case, is that ever happened like from your space, like from your Instagram, any self-published author like received a huge traction, like received something, they came back and told you, oh, because of you, people reached out to me.
So there was this book a couple of years back which I had reviewed, and I talked about it a lot. It was a thriller, and it was somewhere between a traditionally published author and an independently publishing somewhere that space, and the book was good, and a lot of people did buy the book and read it, and it also won an award later. So yeah, I consider that book as one of as a success story for me.
Why don't you put some light on whether giveaway campaigns and exclusive Q&A sessions for authors are still engaging audiences?
So there are two parts to the question. When you're talking about giveaways, now giveaways do help the authors get more audience, but in my experience of hosting giveaways, it is not that engaging, because people do come to your account, but then you have unfollows and a lot more of that happening. But a Q&A session is completely different. When you're hosting a live or a recorded Q&A session, uh, the first thing is you get different insights into the book and the writing process. So you as a reviewer and the readers who are watching the session can connect to the author. So that helps the author also uh, bring out their personality and how that connects to the book. The second aspect of it, which has helped me as well, because when somebody is live and when somebody is talking to an author, there are two sets of audience that come in. One that is your audience, one that is the author's audience. So you might get lucky, and you might you know have new audiences coming in. Same for the author. You can have new audiences watching the live, talking about the book, and then you might have people who pick up the book, and that can be an effective marketing campaign because the book is selling in the end. So I would say that Q&A sessions are a lot more effective when we talk about marketing as a strategy. Giveaways help to a certain extent, but there's no guarantee, that the person who's won will actually read the book or talk about the book, or read and spread the word of the book as well. And giveaways will have an audience of, you might give out 2 books, 3 books, 4 books, 5 books. But when you're talking about the book, you're talking to the author. There are people who are live, who can interact with the author, who can pose their questions. So the interaction becomes the key here, and I think that helps in marketing the book a lot more.
That's correct, because I can give example here. I have like done a few giveaways, like either promoting my book, or maybe like giving the book of the choice of the winner. So I have seen like people will get attracted at that point of time, and there again will be unfollows, and you will conduct another giveaway, and there will be more follows and more unfollows. So that keeps happening a lot. So although we keep trying giveaways, no matter what is the secret or the hidden darkness behind that, but yeah, that is something that we
Yes,
all know.
exactly. And when you have an account which talks about books, and you are hosting authors, so that is something that can make you stand apart as well, because you're posting photos, you're posting reels. But when you're doing an author interaction, people have that expectation, that their favorite author, or the author they want to talk,
True.
might be someday, in conversation. And there are people that I follow for that same reason as well.
Hmm.
So that helps keeping the people engaged with the author and yourself as well, because unless and until you also increase your own brand, uh, your worth or your value as a bookstagrammer can't stay stagnant. You also have to innovate. You also have to figure out new things to stay relevant, because it is not just posting reviews. And we have talked about the visual aspect of it, so you have to come back to doing something that makes people come to your account. Otherwise, your if your account is not engaging enough, and there is no audience on your account, then why would somebody actually collaborate with you, or use your services, or come to your account to talk about their book.
So it's like it reminded me of one question, along with reading, we all have become like literal content creators. So how has that impacted your reading and your whole like schedule?
So when you're reading, and personally when I am reading, I read for pleasure. I always do that, even if it is reviewing the book. And I make it a point to review all the books I read, even if it is my personal copy. I do post a review. So that aspect of content creation is always there, because stagnancy can't be a feature in your account. That one post is coming today and another post is 3 months apart. So yes, that pressure of creating content is there. The pressure to create different kinds of content is also there. So it eats it into your reading time, because you have a limited amount of time, and it eats it into your time. But as a bookstagrammer, when you have decided, I will give this many hours to this particular aspect of my life, then that has to be there, because you can't say, "Nee, nee, I am a reader, I will just read, and I want somebody else to create my content." You can't do that.
True.
uh, this brings me to another small aspect of book reviewing, is the use of AI that's coming in. And we all think that if we take the review, or take like parts of review from AI, it will reduce the effort. But what happens is the emotions get missed. And believe it or not, if a review is written from AI, and if you've written review for yourself, those are two completely different complete things. And you can actually understand. So or if it is very generic also, that's very understandable, that you've not read the book and you have just written a few lines about the book. So you have to understand that you have decided to market books, you have decided to be a a part of this entire ecosystem of marketing. So you will have to dedicate time to it. And yes, might not be able, possible to do it every day. Then you have to figure out a way to, create a calendar or create content beforehand. Figure out what works for you. And there are times when even the best of people have taken a break because they don't have time.
That's correct. That's break is eventually needed.
Yeah,
And in fact, I was talking recently to someone. Let's keep going until the break come by itself.
exactly,
Either it will come by itself and it will be a longer the one than the one you take. So
exactly,
it's better to take rather than waiting for the right time.
exactly. There might be some constraints at some point in time, but if you're doing it consistently, I think that gets into your routine.
How do you think the Bookstagram will evolve over next few years?
So we have seen, we have come from static posts to carousels to reels and to, long videos as well. So I think, when we're talking about the what comes next, I think we are already seeing trailers of books. We are already seeing contests that are coming in. So I think that is going to sustain, and we might see a lot more of interviews coming in, a lot more of videos and podcasts coming in. One thing that I believe needs to come is the focus on audio platforms, because not a lot of audiobooks are being explored on Bookstagram. So I think that is something that will come in, and the content will change to suit that, because in ebooks and physical books a lot of annotations feature as content, book covers feature as content, but when you have audio, then that's a completely different ball game. So how do you create content around that? So I think that is going to be a part of Bookstagram.
Bookstagram thing. Yeah, that's completely correct because we have seen like fiction with fiction books, character card postcard are coming in. So there are a lot of things that keep coming. If I talk about one of the examples from my life, I recently launched my fourth book, and in that I created the postcards with the illustrations and all the poetry that have been written. So that is something I sure thought like people will get attracted to, and yeah, people really loved it. So that is something. Uh,
Exactly. So that's the idea of marketing, because uh, book as a product has come out. Now when you are using this medium, then you will have to create something that stands out on the platform. So you have character cards, you have character videos coming in. It is almost like, the video games were, introduced.
true,
You
true.
have these larger than life trailers coming in, you have people talking about the characters, you have like the AI generated characters.
AI generated characters and the visuals of the
Exactly,
scene in the fiction, like horror, thriller, the way the videos are captured and created and animated, so that keeps the audience hooked until the book comes
exactly,
out and they read
exactly,
the book.
exactly. So a lot of buzz about the book starts getting created uh, quite a while before the book comes out. So you have like people talking about the cover, people talking about the character,
Characters, yeah.
and you have like, I can resonate with this character, I can understand this character. So what happens is, before the book comes out, you know a lot more about the
About
book,
the book.
and there's this buzz and there's this understanding, that I want to read more about these characters now.
I think more than book in the blur, people are getting attention towards putting their attention towards the book by all these new baits that we authors and
Exactly,
publishers are bringing in. So I
exactly.
think that's going to create a whole big impact in the book marketing and in fact reading culture, I believe. Because no matter how much mature we become in choosing our books, our reading nooks, eventually we get affected with the different catchy things that is created in the market, be it postcards, bookmarks. Like we have seen like magnetic bookmarks coming in, like steel
So,
bookmarks, all these things.
basically, I think we all started reading with those comics, and Chacha Chaudhary and Tinkle, and I think the visuals was something that we understood, and no matter what people say, that don't judge a book by its cover. the visual aspect of it will always be there, and
True.
I think that's what is governing Bookstagram.
How do upcoming bookstagrammers carve their niche in the growing community?
So with a lot of people coming into reviewing on social media, I think the primary standout feature would be honesty and the quality of your content. You can create how many creative posts you want, but in the end, if you are focusing on book reviews, then your reviews have to be top. They have to be the best. If you are focusing on creativity, then your creativity has to be the best. Otherwise, in this crowd, or a lot of people, when they're here, uh, unless and until people can trust your content, believe in your content, they will not come to look for it. And you have to make your reviews worth people's time. So, and if somebody is, spending money basis your opinion of something, uh, then you have to be honest. You owe the person that. uh, Second is, you have to stay with the trend.
That's
You
correct.
can't be like, I will only create basic text content because I want to be true to book reviewing, and I cannot create good content. You have to evolve. You have to understand what is working, and you have to engage. You might not always see the trends that's coming in, and hence the community becomes important here. You can't be standing alone. You have to interact with the community that's there. You have to interact with the authors, you have to interact with the publishers, interact with the other reviewers, how they are creating, collaborate with them, right? Figure out a way to coexist. You are
Yeah,
not competing, you are coexisting, and as long as there are different views about the same book in the community, it is always going to be fun. And if you are enjoying the content, I think that will help you grow. Unless and until you're not enjoying, and if you're seeing it as a task, that will be reflected in your work as well.
true.
And I think that mm, happens. When that happens, you need to take a break, step back, figure out what's going wrong, and find out what else you can do. Because I started my Instagram live sessions because in COVID, because there was nothing else to do. But the first one was scary, because I was trying this feature for the first time. But yes, there are glitches, and there are a lot of technical issues coming in. Maybe you are not comfortable enough in front of the camera, but then figure out something, find what works for you, and unless and until you explore and you enjoy, I think that's the best way of growing here.
There are two takeaways from this, like honesty, but don't be brutal. And the other one is coexisting. Like that was something that hit my like left an impression on me, because we don't have to be competitive in this. We have
Exactly.
to be coexisting with each other, understanding each other's creativity, and keep trying ours own, instead of like, even if we are imitating like something said and done somewhere, it it's not that what we are creating is the unique thing that has been said and done
Exactly.
somewhere. So we have to understand that even imitating is not wrong, until unless you are giving the true, like, due credit to the
Due
person.
credit. Uh, Also, when you have this community of like-minded people who are talking about books, who are talking about reading, uh, having this conversation is something that can help you grow as a reader as well, because you can explore different type of books, you can explore different writers, because if I am reading a book, I am reading a writer, I have a certain preference which I'm picking up. You, for example, are picking up something else, and I read your review and I figure out, this is something that I might like. And that again is a reason why this community exists, because when we're talking about so many books, then you are bound to find a book or a story that you have not read before, but you might like. So again, it's not just marketing to the sell to the buyers, but marketing within the community as well, because uh, you find a book, I find a book, and that is how we talk
We
about.
talk and grow in this community
Exactly.
basically. Usually we only focus on getting our books reviewed on Amazon and not other on online and offline platforms like Flipkart or maybe some online bookstore, and it leads to like losing interest of offline bookstores. So what do you think, why does that happen a lot?
So again, this is a debate and a discussion that's been going on for a long time now, because buying online has, the offline bookstores are suffering because of the deep discounts and deliveries that Amazon and Flipkart give us. But that experience of going to a bookstore, finding a book to read, that's still unparalleled. And uh, on Amazon, you probably go search for a book and buy it, but that exploring and the finding of the books is not there. Why I think Amazon has reviewing on Amazon has taken a forefront is because, personally, even as a reviewer, I have also not reviewed on other online sellers as well, because it is somehow, Amazon rankings have become a measure of book success. Uh, but if you go to any bookstore, they will have a shelf of bestsellers. They will have, books displayed prominently. So the offline bookstores also have their own way of showing how the book is performing, but we have somehow made Amazon rankings a measure of book success, and it has its pros and cons. But we have seen a lot of bulk reviews happening, people posting pre-written similar reviews, AI
Yeah,
generated reviews.
that's
So
something.
the trust factor, yes, a lot of people are posting reviews on Amazon, but on the flip side of it, um, there's a trust deficiency also on Amazon reviews, uh, because I have seen a lot of people, not trusting Amazon reviews. Um, Even personally, when I make a purchase, I take Amazon reviews with a pinch of salt, not just for books but for other things as well. So yes, Amazon has become important. It's one of the largest sellers, so yes, it's taken its space. But I think we had Goodreads long before that, but somehow Goodreads reviews are not getting that much of traction. We have left it somewhere behind. We do review it on Goodreads. There are rankings on Goodreads, but somehow we have made Amazon as a measure of success. And maybe it is because the other online platforms are not as easy to use, or that ease of use is not there. The ease to post reviews is not there. uh, Another reason why I think Amazon reviews have become important is because of Kindle, because I have not seen people with other e-readers. There are other e-readers in the market, but we have synonymized Kindle with e-readers, and we always say that I am carrying a Kindle rather than carrying an e-reader. So there, because of Kindle Unlimited and Kindle Direct Publishing, there the Amazon metrics become important. So I think that's primarily the reason why Amazon reviews have become important, because of the ebook and the Kindle market. So I think that's the reason. But again, we need to also figure out how to keep our offline bookstores
Working
and
and like
working.
buzzed with people.
Yes, yes, because you need to have that experience as well.
In fact, when you said like Amazon markets have become a trend, so like I have seen on books there is a sticker best-selling author on Amazon. Like what is that? Like I also got first rank one on Amazon on my latest book. I was like, should I put that sticker on it? And I was like, no, that can happen. Like that can happen with anyone based on the ranking that Amazon is creating. But the reader base is not that big that my book became bestseller on Amazon. So I did not trust that. So that is something like that is getting again traction of people, and people think Amazon is the best way to promote your book. But as you mentioned, Amazon reviews can't be trusted that well, because I have seen and I have been a part of such projects where they give you pre-written reviews. I have not never done that, but I have seen those messages getting exchanged in groups. They talk about pre-written reviews. They say like 4 or 5 star hi dena. I never took those things seriously because I felt, why should I do something that
Exactly.
I can't trust, or something that I cannot assure you that will be that worth or not. So yeah, again, this is again a
Yeah,
debating
exactly. But
debating.
again, yeah, I think Kindle was the main reason by why this has happened, and with KDP and KU, I think that is what made Amazon stand apart.
And yeah, that's completely I agree with it, because ebook, not getting physical book everywhere and anywhere, it's better to have ebook with you, like we can read
Exactly.
on our phones with the Kindle app. So that is something that is helping a lot. So I had asked a lot of questions, but now I have two more questions asked for two of our friends.
Okay.
So the first question is by Sukena. Why is there a lack of diversity in Indian book marketing?
Okay. So when we talk about diversity in Indian book marketing, I think the reason is we are not reading a lot of diverse authors. We have this either we are reading popular books uh, from the best-selling list, or well-known authors, or we are focusing on debut authors, but we have not consciously made an effort to pick up books by on queer literature, or queer romance. We have not done that. We have not done that consciously. So I think that's one of the reason. uh, the second reason, I think, is uh, a lot of people are not focusing enough on diversity in their content as well.
Okay, yeah, that's
uh,
something.
yeah, so again, comes back from the first point, because we're not reading a lot of diverse authors, so we don't have a diversity in our content.
Yeah, that's correct. Recently, like one of the book clubs started as Satrangi Reads. That has been like focus that will be focused on queer literature by Southeast Asian
Okay.
authors. So that is something like people keep coming up with a lot of initiatives to bring that diversity. But still, like people showing up to be a part of that diversity is still a challenge, I
Yeah, I
believe.
think because unless and until it is an unconscious decision, uh, we will not be talking about diversity in content creation and books as well. Because what is happening is we specifically pick up diverse literature when we want to highlight
Highlight like getting prompts from some.
either prompts, or maybe I have not read and I
Hmm.
I want to read. That's the reason I'm picking up a book. But unless and until it becomes that I just go pick up a book and start reading, I think that will never come into
Come
the
in
content creation.
content creation. True, that's correct, because recently I was looking for a book that celebrates BIPOC. And I had to read it in February, then I lost interest in that because I did not find the right book at that time. Now again I realized I had to read that book for a prompt. So I thought like I should read it. So that is happening a lot.
Yes.
So I got one more question, and that is from Astha. How is offline and online events inviting readers impact the book marketing?
So again, the communication between the author and the reader, and the gap, that bridging that helps a lot, because when you are connected with the author and you see them on a day-to-day basis, you see their life, you see their interactions, there is this possibility that you find pieces of them in their stories. And once that happens, there's this connection that you can make with the story. You can see, acha, I had seen this window, I'd seen this door in one of their stories, and somehow that has made its way into their story, and suddenly your visualization changes, and
True.
that helps a lot. Offline events are very important, because you meet your reader, you meet your target audience, and when you're talking to them, you understand what they want. And from a reader's perspective, you meet the person who's created this story, right? So you can ask questions, you can interact, you can give your feedback. So that becomes important, and this two-way communication is what marketing really needs to do. Because if it's a one-way communication, I don't think a lot of people will get interested. But when you have a chance of getting a signed copy or something extra from the book, you go to the event, you get a signed copy, you have a postcard, you have a letter, or you have a small poem, so that becomes your memory.
True.
And once you have a memory, that book becomes a part of your life,
Yeah, that's correct.
right? So I think that experience itself is important, more offline than online, because offline, it's physical memories, you remember things. Online you do get to interact, but the interaction is limited.
And I feel that is somewhere lost, like that stays with you till the time you were there in online presence.
Exactly.
I think that was something like apart from being on offline events. So offline events just not just create memories, allow you to like express yourself and know more about the authors, other people in your community. So that's way helping you in any
Exactly.
ways. So Siddhant, this was fun, like talking about book, not exactly book, but book marketing. That seems like the dark side of Bookstagram.
Maybe could be.
Thank you so much for joining me. Like, I am so glad that you joined and I got to learn a lot of things from you. So, for now, wrapping up with the food for thought for you all. What's your take on the changing trends of book marketing? Tell us in the comment section.
Thank you, Tanvi, for inviting me to this podcast. It was super fun talking to you about book marketing and talking about what works in Bookstagram. So thank you, and don't forget to subscribe to Tanvi's YouTube channel and her Spotify podcast for more such content.
And if you are an author or a community of readers and writers who wish to spread the word about yourselves, do let me know through my Instagram handle, Pregnancy. Follow me on Instagram to have an insight of what's brewing ahead. Stay tuned for the next episode.